Hi, AJ Hartley here, novelist, Shakespeare professor, baby metal fan, and somewhat unexpectedly we've got a new song. It's not officially a baby metal song, it's even more strangely, surprisingly, a Lil Uzi Vert song. Lil Uzi Vert is a Philadelphia rapper, songwriter, and you know, it's not the kind of music I normally listen to, so I know very little about him. I think he goes by plural pronouns, which I'm going to use because it's relevant to the song, I think. I want to just sort of take a listen and react, I guess, and talk through what I think I'm hearing. There's no video per se to go with it. It came as something of a surprise. There was chatter about it over the last few days, but a lot of people didn't really believe it was going to happen until it was officially released. And there's been a lot of very, very mixed fan response already. We'll get into that as we go, but let's... Whoa! Okay, it's just... I knew that BABYMETAL was the official listed producer on the song. The song is called The End. But damn, I didn't expect it to be this hard and heavy and this metal. Yeah, that's an intense start. Okay. I'm a little taken aback. I have to get my head around this. Okay. I mean, I'm not used to hearing Sue's voice at that speed. It sounds quite processed, but I think the whole thing is going to sound sort of processed. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. And it's reminiscent of the way her voice was processed in the Bring Me the Horizon song, Kingslayer. Bring Me the Horizon, incidentally, are also one of the bands that Lil Uzi has partnered with on this his fourth album, Pink Tape. So that's interesting, though. Of the other, I mean, BABYMETAL is the standout. You know, the other people like Nicki Minaj, who they've partnered with on this album, are musically closer to what Lil Uzi usually does. So this is a surprise. I saw there's a video teasing the album itself, the Pink Tape album, which is loaded with Japanese imagery and mythology, both modern and sort of ancient / mythic. So there's a very sort of self-conscious mashup of cultures and musical styles, which I think is interesting and actually quite compelling. The melody line here is very, very simple. And the words are very simple, right? If I'm getting it right, basically la la la, sing a song, sing along. But there's a surprising sort of, I get this, in a way, this is classic BABYMETAL, right? You get that hard, almost grungy, dark, pounding metal sound, and then this sort of almost comically inappropriate trilling speed vocal over the top, you know, in this sort of very peppy positive kind of sound, and lyrically, it's a metal nursery rhyme, right? That's what I'm hearing. And it has the tonality of that, not just the sound of it, not just the sort of the musicality of a nursery rhyme, but also the sort of positivity and the sing-along thing. And of course, invitations to sing along are very baby metal. Again, and we've talked about this before, that extension of community and inclusivity. Interesting. Let's see what else. Wow, this is not what I expected at all. I'm going to pull up the lyric because I'm not catching all of it. Okay, here we go. So, yeah, we got that. Singers. Love is all we need every day, every day, every day. Okay, so that's the tail end of the baby metal part. Interesting. Yeah, I guess I did hear that. Love is all we need. Well, that's a line you don't use lightly. Of course, musically, it's the refrain of one of the most anthemic pop rock songs of all time, All You Need Is Love by the Beatles. Interesting. So again, that sense of the positivity of what is being suggested by that, by the Sue Metal's voice. I mean, that's the most positive idea of all, right? And then we get to the Lil Uzi verse part. I'm not from this earth, I'm from outer space. Landed here just to drop the pink tape. And the pink tape is the name of the album. You feel blue, have a pink day. Huh. Interesting. When I came to it, I didn't know what to say. I'm not from this earth. Okay, so interesting. So positioning self as alien, as not belonging, as from somewhere outside. Then you feel blue, have a pink day. That's really interesting. And that's, in a sense, a reference to the album, which you see on the flag there. But of course, I said, you know, that Lil Uzi goes by plural pronouns now, suggesting a kind of non-binary sexuality. So blue and pink being put in opposition are clearly indicative of the modern way of thinking about gender. Blue being masculine, pink being female, though it didn't always used to be that way, but that's the way we do it now. Feeling blue, as in sad, or masculine, have a pink day. That's really interesting. That's actually really interesting. Coupled with Sue Metal's invocation to that love is all you need, we get this very sort of expansive, positive attitude to loving all people, and regardless of gender, regardless maybe of sexual orientation. This is, after all, LGBTQ Awareness Month. Interesting. You know, I can't help smiling, you know. Is it a great song? No. musically, instrumentally, vocally, lyrically, it's not a sophisticated or complicated song, except maybe in the production. But it has a real energy and a bounce and a positivity. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually quite like it. Wow. That's a really interesting sort of hybrid blend of musical styles, and it has that Koba production to it. You know, I'm thinking of things like Tales of the Destinies and those kind of songs that have that sort of prog rocky kind of feel in terms of tempo shifts and time signature shifts. And here, obviously, it's given a very electronic cast, a very digital kind of cast, which maybe goes along with the sort of the other one notion of alternate universes, and in the same way that Kingslayer did, right? It's interesting. But it's also just kind of, it hits. Yeah. Yeah. I got to say, the other thing is, I expected Lil Uzi themselves to be more of a presence on this song. It's almost more of an endorsement than it is a spotlighting of the artist, right? This is a Lil Uzi song. It's not a BABYMETAL song, but in some ways, it's got more BABYMETAL to it than Lil Uzi. I mean, again, I don't know anything about this, so, you know, take that with a grain of salt. And the lyric repeats, so again, super simple. It feels almost more of a statement, a manifesto, than it does a real song, which is interesting. I noticed, incidentally, when I looked it up, that on the liner credits for the album, Momoko is credited, as well as Moa and Sue and Koba as producers. So I wonder when this was recorded. I wonder if it was before we actually knew Momoko was officially part of BABYMETAL. Unless it's been done I mean, you know, given the touring schedule that they've been on since, I wonder if this was recorded on the quiet before she was sort of unveiled as the third member. It's just breathless, isn't it? It's a constant, frenetic sugar high. Yeah, again, not a complex song, not a rich song. I mean, again, we don't get to really hear the vocal quality, but I think both sets of voices are quite heavily processed. But it feels like that sort of digital package, you know, like the video that I said, you know, puts Lil Uzi in Japan, or some versions of Japan. It has a very sort of video gamey sensibility, and it's all very digital and all sort of upfront about that artificiality. So, you know, I don't think that's a deficiency of the song, and I think that if you complain about that, about the digital quality, it's like, well, that's what it is, you know. That would be like complaining about a cat because it doesn't bark. It's not supposed to, right? Yeah, I said at the start that there was a lot of very divided fan opinion. And that's, you know, to be expected, and it's fine, and everybody has a right not to like the song, of course, including if you're a fan of the band and you're just like, yeah, this is not my kind of thing. I totally get that. Some of the fan response was almost angry, however, and reminded me a lot of some of the fan response to the initial leaking of Papaya, which involved Baby Metal's collaboration with F Hero, which I talked about extensively when I did a video on that song. So it makes you wonder if there are other things in play, other issues and ideologies and attitudes which have no place in Baby Metal fandom. Seems to me. I mean, Baby Metal are about inclusivity and diversity and hybridity. They always have been. That's what they sing about. That's what they manifest in their own music and their own musical evolution, the way that they embrace other styles, other cultures, other races. If you're hostile to that, you're not a Baby Metal fan. And there's the nursery room. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. The little music box at the end. Nice, sort of puts a button on the whole thing. Yeah. I actually quite like it. I don't know if it's the kind of thing that I'm going to listen to a lot of. But yeah, I think it's sort of fun and upbeat and peppy and still has that sort of dark energy to it as well. And I think the core idea of celebrating love and maybe sort of shifting gender identity, shifting sexual orientation as being somehow less important than the sort of idea of love more generally. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that, whatever. Says the straight white guy. Yeah, nobody cares what I think about this stuff. But, you know, I also, that's sort of the point, right? I don't have to be the things that I support in other people. All right, that's it. That's all I'm going to say. A cautious thumbs up, I think. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see what comes next. That's literally all I'm going to do. I wasn't intending to make this video. I've made it very quickly. I've made it in place. I was in the middle of making a series of videos on traveling in Japan. I'll get back to those next week. And for now, you know, like, comment, subscribe, share your comments, spare me the vitriol. Check out my merchandise, including my Bokudowa shirt. Yes, check out my books, Hideki Smith, which comes out later this summer. And I guess that's all. And until then, yeah, love is all you need. Bye.